Hello, everyone. My name's Mike. Tell me, do you have any siblings? Do you get along well with them? Frankly, I can't say so. My sister has always caused me a lot of troubles, but recently she did such an awful thing that now I totally hate her. You want to know what happened? Then make sure you watch this video to the end. Here we go. Let me start from the very beginning. My sister is 4 years older than me. When our parents told her she would soon have a sibling, she was not happy at all and burst into tears. This was not what our parents expected. She said the girls in the kindergarten told her that when a second kid appears in the family, parents forget about the first one, paying all their attention to the baby only. These stories always frightened her, and she hoped she would never have a brother or sister. Alas, my parents' news made Lana's nightmare, that's my sister's name by the way, become a reality. So even before my emergence in this world, she already started hating me with all her heart. And when I finally was born, nothing had changed her. Mom and Dad hoped that she, like any girl who liked to play dolls, would take care of me and help me. However, she was scandalous, hysterical, and naughty. That's probably why I've never been friends with her. Lana didn't play with me. She didn't walk with me and didn't share her toys either. Of course, our parents tried to fix it. As my mom told me, they even took Lana to a kid's psychologist, but the latter insisted this was an age-related problem and it would pass over time. However, the situation only got worse year by year. When I grew up, I started realizing my sister's real attitude towards me. I was offended she never spent time with me, though I really wanted to play together, watch cartoons, and do the stuff brothers and sisters usually do. I started being naughty back. I made setups for her. I drew some nasty things in her school notebooks, spilled juice on her bed on purpose, or sprinkled cookie crumbs on the sheets. Anyway, we had a real war at home. My parents almost accepted it, hoping someday we would both finally grow up and calm down. The ceasefire happened only when our grandparents came over. We both didn't want to upset them and make them worry, so we played a happy family where we loved each other. When we got older, I was about 15 and just starting my high school, and Lana was 19. She was in college. We switched to a Cold War. Sometimes we exchanged barbs or harsh words, but anyway, we tried to stay away from each other. I was hanging out with my friends from the school music club, and she was missing out on the dates with her boyfriend. Even our parents finally calmed down, believing that the kids had finally made peace. In fact, it was just the lull before the storm, and it all happened on Halloween's Eve. Everyone knew our school was going to throw out the most fabulous Halloween party, so everyone wanted to join in. Of course, only high school students were allowed, mainly because of the students were going to have fun there in the way adults usually do. There were a lot of rumors and gossips about the party. Lots of people discussed and started getting prepared. That's why me and my friends were looking forward to Halloween this year. Well, because we were high school students, which meant we could go to the party and have real fun there. Besides, as for me, this party was a real chance to meet a girl who I've liked for a long time. Her name is Katie. She was a year older than me. She also played music, so we often saw each other during the music classes. We said hello to each other, but we never really talked. As I heard it from my friends, girls are more open and talkative at the Halloween party. They all communicate as if they've been friends with you for a long time, and no distance or kind of embarrassment or something. So I've been waiting for this party even since the beginning of the school year. One day, we were discussing the party with my mates in my room. We were playing Xbox, shared our ideas about costumes that can surprise girls and attract their attention. Of course, I said I really wanted to impress Katie. My idea was to know beforehand what kind of costume she's going to wear and then prepare a matching outfit with her. That would be a good way to start our conversation. Just at that moment of such an active discussion and fun, Lana popped into my room, slamming the door and yelling at us because we were too loud. I didn't think at that time she was overhearing our conversation, and why in the world would she ever need to know something about my plans? What business is that of hers? But it turned out I just didn't know my sister very well. The party was supposed to take place on the night of October 31st to November 1st. On the big day, we were having breakfast together with my parents. I warned my parents I would stay overnight at the Halloween party. My dad was quite okay with this news. Well, he understood I was no longer a small kid and I wanted some fun. But my mom was worried and she started asking questions. As ill luck had it, Lana came in at that moment. She graduated of the same school, so she was well aware of the Halloween parties and the way people hung out there. I hoped she would skip some details and not talk too much, Nope, quite the opposite. She started telling Mom awful things. She described everything much worse than it really was. Even my cool headed dad looked up from reading his morning paper and started listening. I think it's easy to guess that after such stories from my sis, my parents totally forbade me from going to the party. They feared I would drink something wrong, eat something wrong, or get into a bad company. To say I was upset means saying nothing. I already had my suit prepared. I was making great plans for this evening and the night, and then. But Lana just grinned and teased me, saying I was just too much of a kid to hang out at such parties. I lied to my friends that I ate something wrong and got food poisoning. That's why I just couldn't go to the Halloween party tonight. It was kind of embarrassing to tell them my parents wouldn't let me go. After this story, I decided to take revenge on my sister. But I had to think of something that would make her regret what she'd done to me and think twice before ever hurting me again. I started waiting for the moment to take my sister aback. I needed some time to pass so she would forget about that party. So I waited with my revenge. All this time, I've been thinking about the perfect plan. And even though it was quite simple, its consequences should have been very impressive to Lana. Like I said before, Lana spent all her free time with her boyfriend, Luke. Most often, they hung out at our house. They locked themselves in her room and either watched movies and listened to the music too loud, or, well, they listened to the music too loud while doing some interesting stuff. You know what I mean. Me and Lana were on the third floor, so most of the time I was kind of an involuntary witness of their dates. Of course, at their big moments, I tried to go to my room and play Xbox wearing noise-canceling headphones. But according to my plan, I needed to be totally aware of the time when Lana and Luke would start having fun together again. One day, the stars aligned for me. It was the perfect time to fulfill my plan. Lana returned from her college with Luke. They immediately went up to her room. They tried to get their work done before our parents arrived. I think Mom and Dad probably knew that Lana wasn't a virgin as she pretended to be, but they didn't want to know the details anyway. I listened to the sounds going from Lana's room, so I made sure she and Luke were definitely doing this thing. Then I went downstairs, opened the front door, and turned on the security alarm. And then I closed the door again, and I didn't turn off the alarm. Then, of course, I turned the alarm off after a while. My plan was to give it some time. The alert should have reached my parents' phones. And it did. My mom called me first and asked me if I was at home, but I lied. I was just on my way from the classes. I said Luke and Lana were there, but maybe they didn't hear the alarm ringing. Anyway, after a while, my mom came back. She even asked her boss to let her go early from her office to check what was wrong with the alarm. I came a little later, pretending I've just come back from school, and my mom saw my sister's sneakers in the hallway. Of course, Mom immediately wanted to talk to Lana about it, so she immediately went up to her room, opened the door, which was not locked, and yeah, I was sorry for my mom, of course. She didn't deserve seeing such a shocking scene. But war is war. Any weapon is good. And this was my war with Lana. Anyway, screaming, yelling, a scandal. Just what the doctor ordered. My mom kicked Luke out of the house. Then she argued with Lana for a long time. Later, my dad came back and he joined the quarrel. This situation was totally awkward. Even though Lana was a grown-up girl, this was not a reason for my parents to accept this situation. As for me, I did a brilliant job, and I had as much fun as possible. I locked my room and laughed at the top of my lungs. By the way, Lana didn't even guess I'd set her up. And if you think that was it, no sir. This was only the first part of my plan. The second one was supposed to provoke an even bigger scandal. But here, I needed some help to carry out my plan. I needed a girl. Let me explain. An unfamiliar, pregnant girl. So my plan was to set Lana up again by putting a positive pregnancy test in our bathroom. Of course, when Mom or Dad saw it, they would immediately think Lana was pregnant. Besides, recently she got caught with her boyfriend in quite a sticky situation. And even if later she would somehow prove she was not pregnant at all, at least I would make my beloved sister be very nervous. Well, I had to spend some time near the maternity home, searching for a girl to carry out the second part of my plan. It was very difficult for me to approach one of the pregnant girls and ask her to do me a favor, because my request definitely would seem strange and embarrassing. But anyway, one girl seemed kind and sweet to me. I invented a legend, approached her, and asked her for a favor. And ta-da! I got my positive pregnancy test. I handed her an envelope with a small reward, which we had discussed before. The girl took it, even though she called me a weirdo. So, the test was ready. In the morning, when my sis had already left for college and dad left for work, I left the test in our bathroom and then asked my mom to pick up a basket of dirty laundry from there. I was sure she would notice what was left on the edge of the sink, and my plan worked again. When I returned from school, I noticed my parents and a crying Lana who claimed she was not pregnant. My mom just sighed. My dad threatened to kill Luke. And me? Well, I probably shouldn't have smiled at that moment because Lana noticed that smile and understood everything. She didn't voice her guess in front of our parents, but I could tell by the look in her eyes that I was going to be rewarded for what I'd done to her. Of course, the next day, my mom and Lana went to the hospital. They found out that she was not pregnant, but the question of the positive test, which appeared in the bathroom, remained. My mom still thought Lana was just hiding something from her. Now it was my turn to expect a trick from my sister every day. I locked my room with a key when I went to school, trying to always keep my phone with me. Knowing Lana, she might well come up with something even tougher than me, so I should have been more careful. Once during the school holidays, I was doing nothing at home. My parents were at work and Lana was in college. I thought, well, I'm now alone at home, so I could afford to relax a little and turn on the adult video. It's awkward to say this thing, of course, but it's okay to do such things at my age anyway. Apparently, I was so carried away by the process that I did not notice I was no longer alone at home at all. But how could I? I couldn't hear the front door slamming because my room was on the second floor, and Lana never let me know she came back. We didn't even talk at that time. Anyway, you probably guessed it, right? Lana came into my room just at the moment of my active relaxation. My words would never describe my shame. After all, Lana was a girl and she was my sister, but she only laughed and recommended to me to close the doors. Looking at this situation from different angles, I realized that my sister could not turn it against me, so I calmed down somehow. Who knew that just at this very moment, a vile and disgusting plan appeared in her mind? As time went by, our war with Lana somehow subsided. I kept my room locked and my phone hidden, of course, but I must admit, I calmed down a little and I didn't keep my eye on the ball. Apparently, I paid for this. One night, Lana came into my room and she put a flash drive on the table. She said I would really like the video that was there. Lana came out and I was afraid to turn on the computer because I was sure I would not like what I would see there. And I wasn't wrong. I don't know how Lana managed to do it, but I was on the screen, and the recording was definitely made from my laptop camera. And anyway, there was a video of me having fun watching adult movies. Apparently, to mock me even more, there was a small screen on the side that showed my reaction while I was watching this video at that moment. And it seems like, so what? I'm a teenager, a mature guy, and I have my, natural needs. But that video in my sister's hands could be a real disaster for me. She could easily send it to anyone, my relatives, classmates, friends. Anyway, it was the end. I couldn't even imagine what Lana would ask for her silence and for the original video. A couple of hours later, Lana came into my room with a winning smile. She said if I didn't want anyone else to see this video, then from now on I should obey her in everything, follow her orders, and never cross her again. This, of course, was very humiliating for me, but I knew that if someone saw this recording, it would be even more humiliating. And now I'm being held as a hostage by my sister. I really do all her errands, took over all the chores in the house, and I had to confess I put that positive pregnancy test in the bathroom. But if you only knew how much I'm sick of it all now. I have thought many times about stealing this recording from my sister or making the same dirt on her, but she was always vigilant and she only laughed at all my attempts. Tell me, what would you do if you were in my shoes? Would you also obey your sister? Or would you refuse and accept the fact that this video could be published? Write your answers in the comments below. I will definitely read them and answer you back. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed my story. I also recommend that you turn the notifications on to always stay tuned and never miss new stories. Bye!